Alright, here is the Army Transport Battalion, the Army Transport's big brother, and it holds a whole lot more models, and it is a good bit bigger, and I really like this bag a lot. It was one of the first ones I got, and it can really hold pretty much a whole army. It measures at space-wise 24 inches by 14 by 9. It uses those same 13 by 7.5 inch trays, but it will hold 20 inches of foam. It's got some wheels and stuff on it that change those dimensions around a little bit, but you know, the bottom line is 20 inches of foam, which is pretty good, and it actually works out to be fairly inexpensive on a cubic inch basis, and that's probably what's more important with this one, is the cubic inches, because you are looking for things that'll probably be taller in here. This one would actually give you a lot of, you could do your troops, and you could probably do 1 or 2 rows of vehicles depending on how big they are. I have a couple monoliths in here, and I'll pull it all apart here in just a second. But it works out to be 0.026 cents per cubic inch. And if you look at on a per model basis, you can get 11 1.5 inch trays in there, which would give you 198 standard infantry models at 38 cents a model. So actually a little bit more expensive than the smaller version on a per model basis, but you wouldn't buy this for masses of models. You buy it because you have tall things. The 2-inch trays, you could get 8 of those in there, gives you 288 and gets you down to 26 cents a model, so pretty close to the other. Still not horribly expensive. I'm going to do a little bit of moving around with this. I'm going to do the outside here. It is a pretty tall thing, so I'm going to move it to the floor in just a minute. But a couple of things I want to show first is it does have the same sorts of pockets as the regular Army Transport, and it has the same, they don't get out very big here, but it also has a bigger pocket up here which you can easily fit a codex or 2 and some other stuff in. It's made of the same material as the other Army Transport. Also comes with a strap, and it has these here, and I guess that's to strap it to things. I'm not 100% sure. I've never used them, and as you can see, it's gotten pretty beat up, and it's gotten a lot of use. Okay, I've moved this to the floor so you can see it a little better. What it has that the other doesn't is one of these telescoping handles, so you can actually, when you lock it down, it'll hold. It is a little flimsy, but not terrible. You can actually put the Army Transport on, just put it right here, lean it against this, so as you walk around it's fine. Now one thing, because it's got the wheels and the rollers, as you can see, it does not sit incredibly flat. In fact, it does not take much to tip that over. So if you stack another one on top of it, somebody bumps into it, it could go down. Alright, so back up on the table here, I'm going to start pulling out some of the foam. It has the same issue as the Army Transport, except magnified somewhat, because this is only a top loader. So if you want to get something to the bottom, you better know what's where. So again, it uses the $6 to $8 per piece foam trays. When you do the pluck foam, you can make them into whatever shapes you want. A lot of these are, you know, have moved models around. But 20 inches of foam. Remember that when you're figuring it out for yourself, 1/4 inch at the bottom of each one of these is not usable. So a 1 inch is actually a 1 1/4 inch deep. You know, 2 inches, 2 1/4 inch deep, etc. And then actually that's sort of a lid. And then I'm not going to pull the bottom piece out, but there are a couple of monoliths in here as well. Hard to do that with no, can't see. So 2 monoliths, and that is, you know, how much stuff that you have in there. And I have something that's sitting like this with pluck foam in the bottom, and then this sits up on top to protect that. So you can see how you can get some pretty tall things in there that you couldn't get into some of the shorter ones. Again, it's pretty sturdy. I've not had problems with, you know, occasional broken model because I've stuck it in the foam funny. and then push something down on top of it. The lid can get squished a little bit like the others, and again, it's the same kind of inside padded foam. That is one, does have some padding here, but a little bit harder than the other. But all in all, it's a pretty good transport case. If you can get one used, it's even better. I forgot to mention, this costs $75 empty. They used to have a full version. I don't know if they still have that or how much it would be. There are also a couple of other versions that they have. They have the Platoon, which is just a 10-inch version. Then they also have their motor pool, which is 16 inches tall, but it stacks sideways, 2 of them like this. So see if you can see it there. So it's 16 inches, but it's really 32 inches of total foam capability, but you have the ability to do wider ones. And then the last one they have is the Division, which is actually, it's like a big suitcase. It's FAA approved, and it has 3 stacks. I don't know how the prices on any of those are, but you can just go to the saboldesigns.net to figure that out. Basically, this is just a big version of the Army Transport, but it can hold a lot of models. You could easily get a full Army to go out and play with, and have infantry models to here, and then some vehicles. You could easily get a few rhinos. If you start getting into the drop pods, it'd be like monoliths, so they're a little taller unless you put them sideways. Measure out, again, I'd say measure out your models and figure out how you're going to put them in your transports before you buy a transport if you can. But the foam is cheap enough here where you can actually buy foam and just stack your foam on shelves with your models in it and just put them in when you want to go. That's what I used to do before I had so many cases. And my wife started getting on me about it, but it's deserved. Anyway, this is the end of this one. I would rate this almost identical to how I rated the regular Army Transport. Cost is a 4. It is one of the cheaper, on a buy-inch base. And remember, you got to put in the foam costs when you do these. I haven't calculated in foam cost to any of this. Because you've got to go by square inches of foam and how many models that each piece of foam will hold. But I did it with just the cost of the bag and figured that the foams will probably run similar. I may figure that out for the final video. But these are 7 by 13 inch, 7.5 by 13 inch trays. Some of the others have much bigger trays, so you could have more capacity per inch. So you got to look at all that. So you need to look at total amount of models you can get into your bag, and you need to think about the design. Do you need a wider bag? Do you need a taller bag? But this, I highly recommend this bag. Cost, I'd give it a 4. Flexibility, a 4, because it's got some height on it. It's pretty rugged. I'd give it a 4 there too. Weight and transportability, I'd give it a 4 for weight. Transportability, I actually give it a 4 because you can roll it, you can pull it, you can stack something on it while you're moving it. And for its size, it's actually pretty compact. And then capacity, I give it a 5. It's one of the 3 biggest bags that I have. Next I'm going to actually look at a bag that is replacing the Army Transport for me.